extraordinaire, the gemologist.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Gemologist Presents. I am somewhere south of Waco on the I-35 heading north to Dallas, Dallas-Fort Worth area, Irving technically, to North Texas RPGCON held at the DFW Airport Weston. Looking forward to going up there. It's been a busy week and I definitely haven't prepped as much as I wanted to. I definitely haven't gotten to the podcast, but today we're going to do this sort of on the road thing with the podcast and see how it goes. And in fact, I had even wanted to start earlier, but now here I am a couple hours into the trip, like I said, in Waco now, and getting to this podcast finally. So I'm going to talk about prepping for games. I'm running 4 games at North Texas RPGCon, and I also have a couple call-ins, one from Riley of something advancement, I can never remember, diegetic advancement, and then good old Jason Connerly from Nerds RPG Variety Cast. They both called in. So let's talk about the games first, and then we'll do the call-ins after. So the first game I'm going to run is called Assault on Stalag 13. So if you can imagine, what if the verse in a Shadowrun-like type verse where you have elves, dwarves, orcs, trolls, etc. You have the Awakening, but there was also a big war with dragons and limited nuclear weapons, and there's anarchy. Many of the nations have broken up. There's marauders and gangs around. It's like almost a Twilight 2000 vibe. And I took the inspiration from a series of books, which I wish there was an English translation or a Spanish translation of, by an Andre Cruzas, called People of the Great River. And in the art, you can see, a group of dwarves in front of an APC with like some M14 type weapons. And you see, dragons attacking a boat on a river. So, with people casting spells and shooting guns. So it looks really interesting, the books, and I wanted to run something like that. Just extraction. The mission is an extraction of an important asset from a prison in the former German states, now overrun by banditry and marauders. So the system, I'm not going to use Shadowrun, actually. I'm going to use a wet-wired system. It just has that sort of old school appeal. I think it's based off the Warlock system. I'm not sure. I know that the rules are simple and light. You roll it for skills. You roll a d20, add your skill bonus, and for combat, it's an opposed roll. You roll against the opponent, and you see who gets higher. So I think it's going to be a fun rule set. I still have to make the characters for that game, even though it is tomorrow morning, Friday. Probably by the time some of you might have listened to this, the game will be running. But I just ran out of time, and I just gotta make those characters. I'll probably get my roommate BJ Boyd of the Arcane Alienist to help me make some of these characters. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but I make some character sheets kind of following the template in the wet-wired book, and I just printed them out as a Word doc. So we just got to fill them in by hand. Probably have to take notes as we make the characters, and then fill them in, add the equipment, and run it. I do have some handouts to give, and I do remembering, hopefully I remember this correctly, that at North Texas they have like a big whiteboard that you can use, but I do have markers and like a quote-unquote battle map if needed. So, and like I said, I have handouts to show, and I have physical handouts, but I've also brought my tablet on which I have like the game. I don't have a physical copy. I was wanting to order one on drive-thru, but it just would have taken too long by the time I thought about it, got around to it, unfortunately. So I'll probably get one. Maybe they'll have some here. I know some of the representatives of the game are going to be up at the con, so maybe they'll have some physical copies. If not, I'll just order one on drive-thru when I get back. So I think it should be pretty fun. I wanted to go quickly, freeform, kind of, like a Band of Brothers type episode, but of course with different characters. I know character-wise, we're going to have a decker, we're going to have a rigger type, so like you call him a gearhead, someone he's like a driver, mechanic, hopefully can fly the choppa if they need to get out of there quickly, extraction-wise, and then definitely have like a sneaky type, so probably like a physical adept, sneaky, fighty, melee type, like a physical adept, and then a shaman or a mage, a street mage or a street shaman of some sort, and then for sure I'm gonna have a troll soldier, so like a heavy weapons guy, a big troll. That'd be kind of cool. I haven't decided quite the species of the other characters, but we'll get to it. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 6 players, so I'll probably make something else, maybe an agitator. There's a cool picture that like an agitator, like a face type character, which might be interesting. So yeah, I think it should be pretty cool. The next game I'm running, and actually I broke it up into 2 parts, so I'm running, so I guess it's actually maybe 3 games that I'm running, not 4 actually, because I broke one of the adventures up into 2 parts, and that I'm going to run an adventure from dungeon number 18 called Chad Ranther's Bane, and it's a really neat twist, and it looks really fun. And I had Jason Connerly come on. Well, I wanted to get him on the show, but we just didn't think about it because he didn't think he would be insightful enough to kind of go over some AD&D combat, because I haven't run it in like years and years, right? Since the 1980s. Was that like 40 years? Wow. Maybe late 90s. I'm trying to think. No, we did run some in AD&D in college. But I think we're transitioning to, no, it was not till 89 that we got 2nd edition. Oh wow, so it would have been AD&D /2E. Anyway, it's been a long time. So I kind of had Jason come over, go over, initiatives and when there are exceptions to initiative and when you do this and when you do that, and see how it goes. And the adventure is pretty good about adjudicating, things like surprise and what happens. But we'll see how it goes. I have the first adventure Saturday afternoon, which is going to be the house part, and then the second part of the adventure, the Saturday afternoon, is going to be the garden part. So we'll see how far we go. I don't know. In my mind, and when I was reading through it and thinking about it, I didn't get a chance to play test it to see if 2 4-hour blocks would work, but it might work. We'll see what the characters do. There's really one in the house adventure, for example. There's one big encounter, and then a little bit of exploration, and then another big encounter, which could work. During the exploration, there could or could not be combat depending on what the players do. In the garden, it's mostly exploration and hopefully getting some direction and finding some clues to complete the adventure. But we'll see. Definitely in the garden, there are chances where you can get sidetracked a lot. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll see how it goes. I can only play it, and I got pre-gens ready. Whenever the pre-gens are pretty well detailed, they even have weapon adjustments for different ACs. Different pieces or types of armor really is how the weapon adjustment works, according to Jason Connerly. He's given me again some pointers on that, and just kind of look at the spells and see how fast they go, because it could matter depending on how the difference in initiatives or the differences in surprise. That could matter as far as spells going and spellcaster interruption, for example. If the characters win initiative, it doesn't really matter, but if they lose, well then you could still get that magic missile or color spray off before you get kerplunked or something like that, or maybe it's the other way around. yes, if you win initiative, you have certain spells take a certain amount of time, and you can get kerplunked before that spell goes off. So, I mean, if you lose, it doesn't matter because you get kerplunked, and then you oh, okay, now I'm going to cast a spell. So, kerplunk mean get hit. I guess that's how Jason explained it to me. Maybe M.W. Lewis will come on and say, oh, you're going to run that all wrong. Well, it would have already happened. But hopefully everyone has fun, and we get a good AD&D feel. We don't feel like we're playing some other game, but it could, oh, I'm getting a call. How annoying. I've learned a way to get rid of calls that don't come up as scam likely. Those I just hang up on. But a call with a number, and I don't recognize the number, I just go on and say, this is Carl from insert new job here, and then they usually hang up because they probably think they got the wrong number, or I don't know, maybe I sound intimidatingly professional. So, which is another interesting anecdote and question as I drive. I've gotten through Waco now. I did stop for lunch in Round Rock, and I went to Pint House Pizza, had a spicy meatball pizza, which was really good, and I could only eat like half of it. It was like a little personal pizza. The 3 pieces from that were enough, and I had a beer, and now I'm on my way. I got some provisions in the form of a couple crowlers and a 4-pack of some of their good stuff to share with you guys up at North Texas. I think some of you guys might listen to this. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do when I get up there. I know Amy had a lot of fun going around and talking to people, and she did some little interviews, and we talked about our day, and maybe I'll do that with BJ Boyd, the Arcane Alienist, and maybe we'll go around and talk to people and be a little more social and get our, I don't know, we don't have a message, but talk to people and interview a few people. There's some really cool people that'll be up there, some people that write all these games that we so much love. So might as well talk to them. Sure. Anyway, the last game I'm running, then, as I've talked about, both the Wet Wired game and then the AD&D game. The last game I'm running, I'm calling Down and Out in Fort Thunder, and it's Hyperborea, first level characters, and it is set. The premise is you've been rescued by the Amazons, or you've come on your last few gold pieces to this colony called Amazon Colony 4, which is almost archipelago, and the Amazons are put a fort here for their own reasons, but they're inviting adventurers, or they're letting adventurers kind of explore around and do things. There's a job board, there are rumors that to be found and listened to, and we'll see which direction the players go. What I want is, and intended to do, is sort of a jumping off point for a West Marches style game set on this island, and there definitely is an end game or a specific locale that I have in mind for player characters to explore. And I actually did kind of play test this and start it up, and that's where I found I needed a few more tables and a few more details, and I got a cool map, actually a map that Jason Hobbs did for me a while back. I don't know if he remembers, but I have the map of Fort Thunder. I have sort of a poetic map of the island with some locations, and then I think we'll see what the player characters want to do. I had originally intended to make my own Hyperborea characters. I did 2 of them, and I ran out of time, so apologies. I just printed out the Rogues Gallery 3 pre-gens that are from the tail end of 2nd edition, but they work just as well for 3rd edition. I'm pretty sure. I hope there's no conflict. There may be, but it's probably minute, and it doesn't matter. We're all there to have fun. So yeah, I think it should be pretty neat. And I'm looking forward to running that game. So I'm trying to think what else is. Oh, I did bring some games. So last year when I was up there were some pickup games, and I know some people are planning to do pickup games. And like, I'm only joining one game. I'm going to play in this game called The Dark Forest. It's a playtest by the person running it, and I don't know. Dark Forest reminds me of the second book in the 3 Body Problem trilogy. So I don't know if it's science fiction or if it's fantasy, but I guess we will find out. And then Friday night I kept open for a pickup game, and a couple games that I brought maybe to pick up to throw at people. I brought some pirate Borg, and I also brought, because you can kind of make up characters on the fly, really. And then the other thing I brought was a Call of Cthulhu adventure that I did part 1 of with some friends, and that'll be on the YouTube eventually at some point with Amy and some friends. We did part 1, but it's a really fun little adventure, and I think you could do it in like a 3 to 4 hour time frame. It depends on how much role playing and how people get into it, and how driven they are or how distracted they get with the myriad of clues that are thrown out there. So I brought those 2. I know BJ also brought some things to maybe do as a game. Saturday I am going to go see a friend of mine who lives in the area, and then on Sunday I'm going to go see my in-laws and touch base with them. Probably go pick up we have a subscription at this restaurant called Lazy Dog, and I'm going to go pick up that too. So it's going to be a pretty busy weekend, a fun-filled weekend. Amy and the rest of my family said to go up there, have fun, relax, don't worry about how busy my week was, and I was trying to make sure that I got all my ducks in a row for work before I left out. But I don't want to miss North Texas RPGCon. It's one of my favorite cons. I love seeing everyone there. So with that, I'll take a pause here, and then we will listen to these calls.
Hey Carl, Riley here. As fun as ChupacabreCon is to say, I'm glad you and Amy seem to have even more fun actually attending. Really enjoyed the episode. Amy did a great job. Really great to hear about all the different games that you ran or played in, and the kind of general experience as a whole. The quick little interviews were nice as well. I'm gearing up to attend my first convention later in the year. Planning just to run a single game and jump into as many as I can reasonably fit in as a player, giving myself enough time to kind of wander about and relax as well. But I'd be interested to hear if you got any tips for a first timer or just tips in general. Thanks for the content. Bye for now.
Hey Riley, thank you for the call. By the way, I am now in my hotel room on the second con of the tour here. So I go to ChupacabreCon and then here at North Texas RPGCon, which is about a month removed from ChupacabreCon. And then I think I might do an online con. I think A Weekend with Good Friends has another online con. I want to say mid to late July. But then after that, it's not until like late September or early October, maybe mid-October, that I have a Big Texas Comic-Con, and that's more of a comic convention. They have people who are, they have like actors that come and they sign stuff and you take pictures with them, and it's more geared towards that. But Amy managed to get a gaming thing going there. We used to have a PAX South in San Antonio, and she convinced the owners, because we did pretty well with just our booth last year, that we could run a mini gaming con. So I guess I'm going to be organizing a mini gaming con then. So as far as advice and what to do, I mean, I think I used to try to get into the big games with the big names, but I think like I had so much fun last year just hanging out and finding pickup games and getting into pickup games. So, sign up for what you want to sign up. I mean, especially some cons like ChupacabreCon, it's cool if you sign up as a GM, you get a reduced badge, a price on your badge. So that's a cool thing to look for. But here in North Texas, I just want to run games, and I'm playing one game because I didn't have anything going on Thursday evening, and it's like, I don't know if I want to run 5 games. So I jump into one game that looked pretty interesting. So we'll see how that goes, and likely I will be exhausted by the end of the weekend. But just have fun at your first convention, man. And I don't know what other advice to give you. Just beware of con crud and stay hydrated. That's very important. Cardio and stay hydrated.
Hey, Carl, Jason here. Just want to say, very interesting on your recent episodes. If I had somebody to play duet with, like you and Amy can play together, one GM, one player, I wouldn't do solo. As it is, I barely do solo. I do a little bit and track it on my blog, but honestly, I don't find solo nearly as enjoyable as interacting with another person. So for me personally, and I know a lot of people love solo, and I'm not poo-pooing it, but for me, I would always play duet over solo. I would always do interaction with another person. So given the option that you have, the opportunity to do that with Amy, that would always be my option. Now, if you're traveling and you have nobody to play with and nothing to do, and you play a solo game that night, that's a little bit different. So I'm interested to see where that goes for you. Again, these are just my feelings, and they're not at all reflective of how you should feel on anything, but just my thoughts.
Yeah, Jason, thank you for that. I guess I'm just really fortunate that I have a wife that likes to play these games, and she hasn't always liked to play, but she was curious enough way back to play a game or two, and then she said, "Oh, I really like this Cthulhu game," so she got into that. And then one time at a mini con, she played some Savage Worlds, and "Oh, I really like that." So, and then she's gone from there and really gotten into things, especially right Twilight 2000 or something like that, where she almost sheds off her Amy persona and takes on the Kasha persona, and even does the voice and the accent, which is interesting. So where does one start and the other end? But it's really, and you could, I mean, if you caught the YouTube, she kind of did her best Gary Cooper, when she played Andy Holmes, private investigator in 1929 Chicago. So yeah, it's really fun to have that availability, have somebody who's willing to try different games, and it's really neat to do. And I hope this works, that we really get some consistency. I've been traveling, and then the new job is not stressful, but there's definitely learning and study and work, right? So it's very different from my previous jobs. So, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the benefits, and I'm enjoying really. I feel like being able to help people. So I think that's cool too, and maybe that'll things will ease out, and then Amy and I will be able to play more one-on-one type of games. But I think it's really neat, and it's really cool to play these small engagements. And sometimes they turn it, like the Keiko Kane solo or dual game, turn into like a game with another person, and then maybe someone else will join, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of, sometimes it can take off. A campaign can take off from that. So I think the other plan we had is she made a AD&D character, and I had an adventure where it was her and a bunch of NPCs, and we'll see if we end up doing that. We did a Harnmaster thing, and she's like, "Oh, we should jump back to that," because actually it has quite a decent number of views, so we might jump back to that. I just have to do some prep. There is this Excel program or Excel document. Well, so there's a lot of, in the place where she's at, there's like only cursory information, and if I want more detailed information, because I know the way I am, I just need to be able to have some time to flesh out the town that she's heading to. So anyway, I think I'll end things here. Thank you so much, Riley and Jason, for the calls. And I have a game in about 45 minutes. I'm just getting myself a sandwich and some chips and a Coke. And then get down there, hang out with people, and then play some games. So thank you guys so much for listening. You can contact me at gmologist@gmail.com. You can leave me a voice message or an email message. You can contact me on various discords. I'm especially relatively active on the Audio Dungeon Discord. I have my own sort of private Discord, based mainly for my games and coordinating with my home group and my online groups. But if you're interested, you can hit me up. I can invite you. It's kind of sometimes a fun discussion will pop up now and again. but there's, I think, better Discords with more people for those types of discussions. So, whatever. And but you can leave me a voice message as a DM through the through Discord, right? And then if not, you can leave me a smaller message. I have a SpeakPipe account, and it's linked in the show notes. So the intro and outro music is by TJ Drennan. I'll give you the official theme song to North Texas RPGCon as we exit. And my wife Amy does the cover clip art. Good night and good rolling.
It's an orgy of game and everybody knows your name.
North Texas RPGCON.
The organizer and Satan are one and the same.
North Texas RPGCON.
And we'll be bumping uglies playing in shows games.
North Texas RPGCON.
North Texas RPGCON. First weekend in June at the Westin Inn in scenic Irving, Texas. Pack those dice bags and a spare liver.
North Texas